Oh, they're in a world of pain at the moment. You kind of mentioned it, Paul. They are hurting around the world in all three major regions of the auto market. You know, U.S. They're not that big of a they don't have that big of a presence in the U.S. Europe, you know, its sales are down. You're not only hearing it from Volkswagen, but also Stellantis as well. You know, their stock is down quite a bit over the past few months. And then China. You know, the Chinese OEMs are taking a lot of market share. In China, they're entering the EU market. Like you said earlier, you know, Chinese automakers are just much quicker in transitioning to EVs in that region than any of the foreign OEMs operating in China at the moment. So, you know, Volkswagen is feeling it.
And how does that kind of position a company in Europe, one of the biggest automakers, trying to compete with U.S. automakers who are having their own issues, and as well as kind of the potential pent-up demand, at least in terms of capacity, production capacity in China?
Yeah. I mean, the pent-up capacity in China is really not EV capacity. It's actually really ICE capacity, internal combustion engine vehicle capacity. There's been a lot of closing of those plants in China. Volkswagen has closed one of its plants in China with its partner, Shanghai Auto, SAIC. You know, Ford has closed a number of plants. Hyundai has closed a number of plants. And these are all companies that have not transitioned to EV as fast as the OEMs. Companies like GM and BYD taking huge market share from the foreign automakers. BYD is actually the biggest automaker in terms of volume in China.
All right, so what is Global Auto to do about China? What is the strategy, do you think? Because I think if I've got these Chinese companies that are, you know, getting better and better every day, what do I do there? Do I walk away from this market? I can't do that. It's too big.
Yeah, I know. You know, if you look at the foreign OEMs operating in China, 5 years ago they had market share over 50%. In the last couple of years, they basically have changed position. You know, the Chinese OEM has more and more capacity, more and more market share, and it's growing. There's a number of ways they can attack this. They either invest a lot of money and really grow EVs, and not just EVs, but these user interface. Chinese consumers are buying cars because they like the user interface that the Chinese OEMs are offering them. So they need to build more EVs. They need to look at revamping their software to cater to the local customers in China. Or the other option is really to close shop and refocus their investments and their costs. They know how to operate in Europe. They know how to operate in the U.S. They know how to sell more cars in their local markets. That may be one option, is to just retrench. But that's not an unfortunate approach if they had to do that in the biggest auto market in the world.
When I look at Europe, are there any automakers well positioned? I mean, Stellantis is getting hit by poor performance in the U.S. BMW has an expensive recall. Mercedes-Benz has been struggling in China. Like, is anyone winning?
Well, relatively speaking, I think the German luxury automakers, the BMW, Mercedes, are faring better than the mass market, but they're also feeling the pain. Right, they're all the luxury brands are also feeling the pain. You know, BMW and Mercedes just reported, lower sales in China, and I also am concerned, and it's a matter of time, because there are companies like NIO, there are companies like XPeng. They're also moving up market, competing with the Mercedes and BMW. So I think, relatively speaking, just to answer your question, the luxuries are doing better, but time will tell if they can maintain some of the sales that they have in China.